Hello everyone, it's Monique Renewed. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a what I ate during a Daniel fast. In the description box below, you will find your free Daniel fast ebook where I share with you more recipes and meal ideas, tips and tricks, and a meal planner template, a grocery template, all the above. Okay, click the description box down below to download for free, and you'll even have more recipes that I did not show in the video. Hey guys, so I'm back from the store and I picked up some items for my Daniel fast, and this time around I kept it simple. Last time I brought way too much stuff and I overcomplicated it and I'm only doing the fast for 5 days. And yeah, so this time around I'm making sure to plan and to organize, and it's really not about the food, but it's about consecrating yourself for God and refocusing on Him. This is just items to build on top of what I already have. So I'm running low on dates. I like to eat dates with peanut butter, honey, obviously I'm not gonna use the honey, and some walnuts. I got some lemons for my lemon water, some sweet potatoes since the store didn't have no regular sweet potatoes, so I got it frozen, so I'm gonna see how that tastes. I like to make mushrooms and spinach and onions. It's so good. And then eat it with sweet potatoes, grapefruit, bananas. Trying to decrease my intake on pre-workout because when I don't have pre-workout, I have a nasty headache, and I know it's the caffeine withdrawals. So I'm trying to reduce my use of pre-workout, and I'm going to be using banana as a pre-workout. Some crushed diced tomatoes, maybe for some pasta, some alkaline water, some coconut water, some vegetables, cooking stock, some coconut milk because I'm going to be making some soups. Oh, this is reduced fat. I didn't even know that. Okay, this is regular and this is reduced fat. I didn't even realize that. Some chickpeas, some tomato paste, some soy milk. They ran out of almond milk, so I just got soy milk. I already have plenty of vegetables in here, like black beans, lentils, brown rice, sweet peas, northern beans. I'm pretty sure I have a can of crushed tomatoes already up there, but I wasn't sure, so I just brought another one. So I'm going to see what I can make up. I'm already starting to plan my meal plan so that I don't have to worry about like what I'm eating. I could just focus on prayer and being in the presence of God. So yeah, tune in for some recipes and some planning for this Daniel fast. I'm going to show you how I prep week 1 of my soup for my Daniel fast. So I will be embarking on a Daniel fast for 21 days. And I've done a Daniel fast like twice and I had failed both times. Okay, y'all. The first time I was eating cheese, talking about something I did a Daniel fast. That was not a Daniel fast, girl. And then the second time, I only lasted for like 5 days before I caved in. And so I'm seeking out to complete this fast once and for all. So everybody else can do it. What's the problem with me? So can I. Okay, we're doing week 1, and I think the reason why I could not complete the Daniel fast was because I was overcomplicating the food portion when it's not even really about the food. It's about consecrating your heart for Jesus. And I also want to break some bad habits of mine. But anyways, I was focusing too much on the food, and so I thought of making soups for all 3 weeks. So 3 different soups to last me for the week, to prep them in advance so that I'm not constantly thinking about what's gonna be my next meal, because I'm not used to eating basically like a vegan type of diet. So it was hard for me to come up with meals. I felt hunger, which is fine to feel hunger, but like it was like my mind was too focused on that, and that's why I could not complete it. So if I already have the structure in place and the, you know, the rhythm, I could easily flow into my day without having to think about food because that's already done for me. So what I thought of was making soups, because what's more simpler and hearty than a soup, right? You could put all types of vegetables in there and be done with it. Right here I have all my veggies prepped. I have my tomatoes. Girl, I have my potatoes. I have some celery, some red onions, some yellow onions already diced up. And my Instant Pot is heating up. I'm putting it on saute so I can saute my onions. I like to bloom my seasonings first before I start cooking. And then here I wrote down what the idea type of soup I want to make. I want to make a lentil soup. My carbs, my main carbs here, which are lentils, potatoes, and pumpkin. For the other miscellaneous stuff, I want to add cilantro, veggie broth, tomato. Oh, I forgot the tomato paste, y'all. See, that's why I wrote it down. See, this is why I like to write stuff down, because I tend to forget easily. Coconut milk, kale, and then for my spices, I want it to taste kind of like Indian-ish. So I have turmeric, cumin, paprika, coriander. It's kind of all over the place. Masala, cayenne, and pepper flakes, because I want it spicy. So. And then for my grain of choice, we have lentils and navy beans. I'm going to rinse them, but that is how it's looking like. And girl, if you don't have a pressure cooker, an electric pressure cooker, please get you one, because I know your mama had a manual pressure cooker and you was probably scared to death that that thing was gonna explode in the house. But I can't do all that. I can't do all that. And the reason why you want a pressure cooker, because grains and like beans and stuff take a long time to get softened up. So if you just put it in a pressure cooker and just forget about it, it'll be done by the time you get to do whatever errands you need to do and come back. And then over here I have my pumpkin puree. I did not know, we were gifted this pumpkin. I did not know what kind of pumpkin this was, so I had to ask ChatGPT what kind of pumpkin this was. She said it was a Japanese pumpkin. So I said, this is how the pumpkin looked before I cut it. And I had to ask her what this pumpkin was, because I wanted to put it in my soup. And she said it's a kabocha squash, also known as Japanese pumpkin. Okay, so I boiled the pumpkin first, and then I put it in my blender with some vegetable stock. And that's how I got this puree. And y'all, I tasted this pumpkin after I got done boiling. Why is this pumpkin so good? I've never really cooked with pumpkin, but I see why Haitian people like soup jumu, because I'm not really a big fan of soup in the first place, but I see why they like it. It's really flavorful by itself without adding anything to it. So I can just imagine once we put everything together how it's gonna taste. Okay, so my Instant Pot says that it's hot. Crummer. Ignore this dent right here, y'all. It still works. I'm gonna add my olive oil. That was about 2 tablespoons. If you want, you can also add like coconut oil. I find that coconut oil is a bit greasier, like oilier. I don't know how that's possible. I'm gonna add my veggies. Like I said, I like to bloom my seasoning. I just don't like to dump everything together, because I find that when you bloom your seasoning, it enhances the flavor a whole lot more. So that's how everything looks so far. I'm going to add a few, like this big dollop of tomato paste, and that sort of gives it like a depth and a richness to it. I know like a lot of African people, and I think like Asian people, maybe like East Asian, like to cook with like tomato paste and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna add my seasonings. This is salt, freshly ground black pepper, turmeric. This smells good already. What the heck? This is tiki masala curry. I just try to find seasonings that I know will kind of blend well together, and I literally love this seasoning right here. It's so good. This is coconut milk. I did not know this was reduced fat, but this is literally the thickest coconut milk I've ever seen in my life. Isn't it usually like liquidy, like more liquidy than this? I don't know, but I'm gonna pour some in here so that my seasonings are not burning. It has some type of liquid. Okay, that kind of calmed down everything. I'm gonna add some thyme. For this fast, I really wanna focus on simplicity. I tend to overcomplicate things sometimes, and that's how I get like really overwhelmed and give up. That's why I thought the soup would be a great idea. This is red pepper flakes. I want it kind of spicy. I'm gonna add some coriander. I'm gonna add some regular curry powder and some cayenne pepper. I'm gonna be generous with the curry because I like curry powder. Minced garlic, and of course, I am not going anywhere without the Duo onion and garlic powder. I know this soup gonna be good. This is how we're looking like so far with everything mixed together. I added about half the can of coconut milk. Coconut milk provides like a richness and a creaminess to the dish. So that's why I like to add it with like curry dishes a lot. I'm going to add my pumpkin puree. This was about half of the pumpkin and half of the vegetable stock blended in the blender. I used to pretend I had a cooking show when I was younger, and I would like talk as if I was on TV and pretend I was like Rachel Ray or something. A little bit of EVOO. Who remembers that? I grew up like watching Food Network, so I love like Guy Fieri, Rachel Ray. This is my first time making this, so I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but the coconut provides like a sweetness and then there's like a spiciness. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That pumpkin is so good. It's usually the stuff that you're not a big fan of that will end up being like so good for you. So I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit and then I'll come back. Now I am adding my own razzle dazzle with some Haitian épices that I made, which is just like, if you're familiar with sofrito, it's like a blend of, but the Haitian version is like a blend of peppers, onion, vinegar, garlic, parsley with some seasonings all mixed up, and then they make it like into a batch so that they're not constantly making the same thing over and over again, which I love because I love efficiency. And then so they have the seasoning at their disposal anytime they want, and this makes food so flavorful and so good. So I just mixed that in there. Okay, so I didn't soak my beans, but I did rinse them off, and I would say this was like about 2 cups of beans. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in there. I'm gonna add my potatoes. This was about like 4 small potatoes. Hopefully the pot doesn't overfill. I'm going to add some kale that I froze up because I always try to add like a green vegetable to whatever dish that I'm making. And then I'm also gonna add some cilantro as well. And then I'm gonna add the rest of my vegetable stock. Maybe not all of it, but enough to make it like more liquidy. And then I'm gonna give it one last taste to make sure it's not missing anything. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. All right, girl, that's it. I'm going to put the lid on here and put it on. I gotta cancel it first because it was on the saute. I'm gonna put it on the bean because there are beans in here that are like raw beans in its original form, so it's gonna take some time for it to cook. So 45 minutes. It also does factor in the amount that is inside the pot, so it's gonna take longer. So I think 45 minutes is good, and then we'll come back and I will show you the results. Okay guys, so this is what the soup is looking like out the Instant Pot. It does have a nice curry flavor. I'll probably end up eating this for lunch and for dinner, and it'll probably last me for the 5 to 6 days, and then I will make another soup after this. I am going to cook it for a little bit longer because the beans are a little hard, but the lentils are soft and the potatoes are soft. So if you plan on making soup in the Instant Pot with the dry beans, I would suggest soaking it first and then putting enough liquid in the Instant Pot so that it doesn't burn, because you will get that burn taste and that burn notification on here if it's not enough liquid. Okay guys, tune in for the next recipe. Okay, hey guys, I just wanted to show you some of the prep I am doing for the Daniel fast. So I plan on making a chia seed pudding, which I'll show you guys. And with that, I'm going to add some fruit preserves or some fruit compote. So in this pan, I have simmering some blueberries, raspberries, strawberries that were frozen, some frozen peaches, and some apples I had cut up. And I'm going to simmer this until it thickens up and becomes like a compote that I've shown plenty of times on my channel before on how I make that. I usually make it with my oatmeal, but I'm going to make it in a chia seed pudding with the soup that I made yesterday. I ended up separating them into their own containers so that I'm not digging out the soup every day in the big container. I just have it already prepped here, and I measured each one, so they're about like 12 ounces each so that I'm not overeating or undereating. These are about like 8 containers. Over here I have my fruit already separated into containers, into like little snack containers that I can snack on throughout the day. My daughter is eating a muffin that my husband got from Whole Foods. I had one last night night. Today's my first day of the Daniel fast, and this muffin is absolutely delicious. So I'm a little jelly right now, but it's okay. So anyways, I separated them into 4 different containers. These are cherries and some grapes, some leftover green grapes I had, and some red grapes that I just bought, so that I could snack on these throughout the day. Because like I was saying, if I leave them in the bag, I'm going to forget, going to end up going bad. So I like to have them already separated out so I can just go. And then I have some tangerines here that I'm gonna put in my office so that I can have it readily available as a snack. And then these are some items that I need to freeze because I don't want to throw them out, so that when I'm done with my fast I could just defrost, put them back in the refrigerator. So some cheese, some bacon, yogurt and stuff like that. And then this is some compote that I made, but it has sugar in it, so I'm gonna have to freeze that for next time. That is it. I will show you how I make the chia seed pudding once the fruit is done. Okay y'all, there has been a change in plans. So when I was going in to taste the one of the peaches inside of the compote that I made, tasted a little bit sweet. So I said, let me look at this packaging. And y'all, I saw the word peaches and peach puree. I thought this was 100% peaches. I look in the back and ingredients, and why does it say it has sugar in the second ingredient? I said, oh my gosh. I thought this was 100% just regular peaches, but it has sugar in it, so I can't use it. And a part of me did want to operate out of integrity and say, oh well, I didn't know, it was a mistake, God knows my heart. Don't we all say that God knows my heart, blah blah blah. But no, I said, let me just operate in integrity and just put it aside and just freeze it and then use it when I'm done with this fast. And then I just made a new batch without the peaches, and I put, you know, the apples and the blueberries, and just move forward. So that's one thing I'm trying to teach myself, is to operate in integrity. Don't try to do like little slick stuff and try to get away with it as if God is not watching. He's always watching, y'all. Now I'm about to prep the chia seed pudding. Now that my fruit is done, I think this will make about 3 servings. I want 2 tablespoons each of chia seeds, but I'm going to put it all in one container, just separate it out because I don't have enough containers. So I'm going to put it all in one container and just separate it once I go to actually eat it. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to add coconut milk just to give it like a coconut flavor. This is reduced fat coconut milk, which I picked up by accident. This is the thickest coconut milk I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know what the heck this actually is. I should probably look. I already threw away the can, but I'm like, this is some thick coconut milk. This ain't no milk. This is pure fat, but it's reduced fat. So that doesn't make any sense. Some unsweetened almond milk. And then I am going to add a little bit of raw oats in there just for some texture. I'm gonna mix that together. I probably need more milk than this. Okay, so you have to let this sit for a couple of hours. So I'm just gonna put this in a container and then put these in the refrigerator, and then I'll show you guys once I actually eat it. So next up is Mexican chili soup, and here are the ingredients you're going to need. I use bell peppers, red and yellow onions, celery, and for my soup base I use crushed tomatoes. I also use vegetable stock, canned collard greens for green veggie, corn, minced garlic, pinto beans, and chipotle and adobo sauce, which is in that yellow container on the far right. And so I proceeded to chop up my veggies, and here are my spices, which include onion and garlic powder, cumin, chili powder, Cajun spice, salt, celery salt, oregano, and a 6 pepper mix. I also added potatoes into my Instant Pot, and next you will see me assemble everything together. At this point, I had added my seasonings with the veggies, and then I also added the chipotle and adobo sauce. Next up, I like to call this double up porridge because it is a 2-for-1 recipe. This is inspired by my childhood from when my mom used to make cornmeal porridge. If you're from the Caribbean, then you might know what I'm talking about. It's like almost like a grit texture, but it's sweet, it's filling, and I love to eat this with a side of bananas. So what I actually did, I took some oatmeal flour and I mixed it with some almond milk. You can use any type of plant-based milk. Use a ripe banana and a couple of dates to sweeten it. You could cook this on the stove as porridge, or you can make pancakes with this. Okay guys, so that's how it looks, and I did taste a little bit of it, and I'm not gonna lie, this tastes pretty alright. I might have just cracked a code for something. I know it be God giving me these ideas sometimes because they come out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I have to write this down and remember this so I can try it at home. This will almost low-key be like a pancake. Hold on. Okay, y'all, I had to pause for a second and add some more milk because I just had an epiphany and realized I was making pancakes at first, which is a 2-for-1 recipe. So if I add more milk or more liquid, then it makes oatmeal. But if I leave it thick, it was making a pancake. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this could make an oatmeal and a pancake, yo. Okay, so next time, I don't have any more bananas, and I intended to make oatmeal. But I'm going to try this recipe again and put it on the griddle and make pancakes out of this. And then I just discovered a 2-for-1 recipe. See, that's how God be working. I just added some cinnamon and some raisins because I typically like that in my oatmeal anyways. I'm also gonna add some chia seeds, but I did not want to mess up the look of it. That sounds so vain. But I wanted to keep it like as pretty looking as possible. So I didn't add the chia seeds yet, but I'll probably end up adding it later. And yeah, y'all, I think I'm gonna make some pancakes out of the same concoction that I just made. And you also want to wait until your bananas are the most ripe as you can stand it, because then it'll be sweeter. Yeah, I'm just gonna cook this for a little bit, and if you find that it's getting thick, just add some more milk to it and that will loosen it up, because otherwise I was low-key making pancakes, but I wasn't mad at it, but I wasn't trying to make pancakes. But I'm gonna keep that for next time.
You started the oatmeal?
Here is the oatmeal. I just realized what the term for it is. It's called porridge. I literally had to look it up in the translator. But my mom used to make this all the time with cornmeal, but it was like an oatmeal type of cornmeal. I don't know how to explain it or where I can even find this, but I put some cinnamon, some raisins, and a dab of peanut butter in the middle. This does taste decent for something that's not sweetened and just using natural sweeteners like fruit. If my banana was like a little bit more ripened, it would have been sweeter, but this is okay. It's better than having just bland oatmeal. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. This by far was my favorite meal. You're going to boil your choice pasta, whole grain or whole wheat, and then you're going to caramelize some onions with olive oil. I added 2 tablespoons of oat flour, some almond milk. I know that seems weird, especially since it's vanilla, but it doesn't taste like vanilla. It doesn't taste like anything. And some vegetable stock. That is what's giving this creamy texture without any cheese, and it honestly tastes so good. Okay, I'm going to be making a like everything but the kitchen sink type of soup. Mix up a whole bunch of ingredients together. Here is my pumpkin puree that I put in my last soup, and here's the other half. And I'm about to add some Great Northern beans into the blender as well. Okay, so that's all blended up. I also added some coconut milk for creaminess and some vegetable stock. That's how it looks straight out the blender. Nice and creamy, perfect for a soup base. So next, instead of chopping all my veggies up, I'm going to add them to a food processor. So I have minced garlic, red onions, yellow onions, jalapeno, and some bell pepper. Okay, so I have my pot on saute to add some olive oil. And we're gonna bloom my seasonings with the onions and the peppers. I'm gonna add some tomato paste. And blooming just enhances the flavors when you cook like all the seasonings together. Pepper, garlic, paprika. Onion powder. That might have been too much. Garlic and herb. Thyme, turmeric, chili. I also like curry powder. Some freshly ground pepper. I swear this pepper tastes different than regular black pepper. Okay, I added some of my pure pumpkin puree. This is what we're looking like so far. I'm going to add some vegetables in here. So I have some spinach that I'm going to add, and also the rest of this broccoli coleslaw with cabbage and stuff in it. So I'm just gonna add all my vegetables. Adding some potatoes and then turn this into soup. And it'll cook for 30 minutes. So in today's video, I am going to show you how in today's video,